Hey guys, I'm a better cetacean, better than any other cetacean, which are slowly dying due to humans. You know who else slowly died? Me. Sorry for vanishing, but I'm back, and I have a video in store soon, but for now, I'm re-uploading my dinosaur video, but child-friendly, aka censoring like 2 things and some anti-cetacean propaganda. I've removed most animations, and here's a disclaimer, my voice was much higher pitched. Present cetacean signing out, see you next video. So many things had to go wrong on this day. One seemingly normal day around 66 million years ago. On one midsummer morning, a flaming ball the size of Mount Everest came roaring through the sky. A rock brighter than the sun pierced through the atmosphere in only less than a few seconds. Let's take it back a bit. A year before the impact, anybody with a telescope good enough to take a glimpse at Neptune would be able to do the same with the asteroid. This is assuming the asteroid didn't come from the asteroid belt. A month before the impact, it was as bright as Mars in the night sky, brighter than any star. 1 week before the impact, it was the brightest object in the night sky, second to that only of the moon. 1 day before the impact, its halo was larger than the moon. After a few hours, it passed the moon. That's fast. For perspective, New Horizons took 8 years to pass Neptune's orbit. It only took Chicxulub a year. But by the way, Chicxulub's the name of the asteroid. 1 hour before the impact, it was brighter than a full moon, so bright it illuminated the surface under it. If you were a dinosaur on that Tuesday night in the last 10 minutes, it'd be extremely eerie. If you never saw it, there'd be no other indicator that something was wrong until the last few seconds, during which the sky lit up, and the ground became so hot it'd light 1,000 forests on fire within the first few seconds. If this happened today, millions would already be dead. Let's go back to what I meant by so many things had to go wrong. First, Chicxulub had to even depart from its original home, whether it be interstellar space or own asteroid belt. Next, it had to miss every other astronomical body in the solar system and specifically target Earth. Then it had to arrive at Earth during the peak of the dinosaurs' dominance. Lastly, and most strange, it had to specifically target the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Hitting the shores meant it was shallow water, and not only caused tsunamis, but injected sulfur into the atmosphere, which were part of the surrounding rocks, causing a much greater global winter, which I'll talk about in a bit. Just a few minutes off and it would smash beside Mexico in the Pacific Ocean. The result of such an alternate world would be anticlimactic. The entire situation would be avoided, as the rock and gas released from Chicxulub are responsible for the leading deaths of 75% of all life on the planet, not the blasted size of the asteroid. The asteroid touched the shallow water and vaporized instantly. With the power equivalent to billions of nuclear weapons, the oceans are pushed back and the rocks under the impact site are burned to plasma. Tens of thousands, if not millions of ejectors blast into suborbital flight. Some reaching the moon, or even as far as Mars months later. The entire planet erupts into an earthquake. When so powerful, it reached a magnitude of 11, possibly the most deadly and powerful earthquake ever experienced by a living thing. Ever. The ejecta would come back down, but some would stay for thousands of years afterwards. When it fell back down, it would have been literally raining fire across the continents. The atmosphere is now, abruptly, either the 3rd hottest in the solar system, or for 1 minute, the hottest of any planet. Anything in Central America is gone, leaving the land itself. Multiple 1-kilometer tsunamis heading away in every direction. Mind you, a 1-kilometer skyscraper would be the tallest skyscraper in human history. Thousands of kilometers of coastline are flooded as the tsunami smashes against them. It was raining fire while at the same time water came smashing across the continents. Most animals didn't make it through this part. The ones alive scurried into caves or had buried themselves. Animals like mammals were all used to this lifestyle. The hellish effects had ended by now, but the animals had now only just realized the ones that died were the lucky ones. The worst would come. The plume of vaporized material covered the surface, preventing sunlight from coming in. Photosynthesis worldwide became impossible, killing 90% of plankton. Those who ate plankton died, and those who ate those that ate plankton also died, and so on. The great marine predators like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs had all died. The surface was an arid, cold, ash-covered land. The survivors had to eat each other during the often occurrence that they had a shortage. The large herbivores died out, then the carnivores that ate those herbivores died, and so on. The dinosaurs, after 165 million years of dominance, within a minuscule amount of time, had vanished. With all these dead bodies laying around, fungi began thriving. This global winter lasted for a few decades, which in human scale is really long, but we're talking about the dinosaurs here. What may come as a surprise to you is this wasn't the worst extinction, nor does it come second place. The worst mass extinction was fittingly named the Great Dine. Despite the apocalyptic nature of the extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs, it wasn't the worst. More life prevailed than 2 previous ones, whom of which were started by slower means. Although like every extinction event to have ever happened, it came abruptly either way. But the one that took out the dinosaurs was much, much more abrupt than anything else. Within a day, the Earth went from a flourishing paradise to an ash-covered cold wasteland, the rate dying taking more time. The emerging survivors were mainly the mammals. These small, mainly rodent-like mammals were previously only either hunters of small dinosaurs or nocturnal gatherers. Survivors also included, once again, the shark.
And I'll be honest, killing you is hard.
Once again, did these mass murderers survive a mass extinction, despite basically the marine food web choking on its own. One of the survivors would become some of the smallest, most intelligent, biggest piles of garbage on the planet. Birds. The only living species of dinosaurs that survived 5th grade health class. Birds can fly. Most of them. At least Cretaceous birds could all fly, because they actually watched Matt Lowen's SSTO video. How do you do this, man? Due to this ability to fly, and their relatively small sizes compared to pterosaurs, which were also brutally weak, birds were able to find the food other dinosaurs and other reptiles had been lacking. Thus, birds made it out alive, being made up of the last remaining dinosaurs on the planet. Like that, the age of reptiles was over. In 1, 2, 3... the reptiles no longer ruled the world. 66 million years later, a bunch of hairless primates always thought of this as a mystery. In the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, laid a large cluster of sinkholes. It would be otherwise normal if half of them didn't form a perfect semicircle into the ocean. Today we all know the explanation for this, and the disappearance of dinosaurs because lots of birds, one stone. This wasn't widely known until the late 80s when it came up as a potential idea. When a geological period changes, there's a noticeable difference in rock layers. A layer in between the Cretaceous and Paleogene rocks contains high amounts of iridium, a mineral that is considerably rare on Earth. Lewis and Walter Alvarez were father and son scientists that came up with the idea that this was because of a meteor that hit the Earth at the time, since iridium is very common in asteroids. They also found tektites within the same area, which are only found when a certain area of Earth is heated up exponentially. The two believed this was the debris that got launched into space by the asteroid. Back to those sinkholes. Cenotes, as they are called, are formed when a roof caves into underground rivers, which, like it said, formed a perfect semicircle across the peninsula, and it was believed by the 90s that the cenotes were formed when the asteroid weakened the supports for the river, causing them to collapse and open up. The Alvarez team believed the asteroid would cause a 90-kilometer wide impact crater. When that formation of cenotes was studied, it came up as 90 kilometers wide.
Let's go to the ruler.
When they tried finding when the asteroid was made, it came up with 66 million years ago, around when dinosaurs stopped appearing in the fossil record. And yeah, that's basically we found out what the hell happened here. But what if it didn't happen? That's way too long of a video to go over, but I'll be talking about one thing. You've heard of Dinosauroid, which is, albeit, very unrealistic. Its body plan is very human. Not to mention the fact that it has a belly button, something only mammals, besides platypi, have or even need. Belly buttons are purely used for giving birth to live young, something dinosaurs didn't do since they were reptiles. Not to mention the reason we have a human body plan is only because of our body was originally used for climbing trees. Long arms and legs for grabbing and swimming. We just used that to evolve bipedalism, which worked well. All in all, just because humans are the only known instance of hyperintelligence doesn't mean every hyperintelligent animal must have the same body plan as us. And in the famous War of Worlds book from the 19th century, the Martians are depicted as not being bipedal at all. Despite this, the livestock are bipedal aliens, but not nearly as intelligent. It is most likely inevitable that something would happen in regards to intelligent dinosaurs, at some point saying that they never went extinct. But they look more like dinosaurs, just evolved for smarter minds. There is even more speculative zoology regarding dinosaurs, but the Dinosauroid is by far the most famous one. After a few 10,000 years, the Earth went relatively back to normal. For a while, though, it was made up entirely of small animals, but eventually the new animals took the niches that the dinosaurs had, and that's where we are today. Rodents went to primates, and primates went to us, although I guess we're still primates. And that's about it. So thanks, and see ya.